I left Atlanta, Georgia. Well, actually, Georgia in general. But when you grow up in Atlanta, in the city of Atlanta, you really value the underground and all that stuff. That's like a primary location where people go as far as the capital is concerned, or landmarks. That's one of those places that you just go to. And I'm like, when I moved to Powder Springs, I actually liked the visuals of it, the way the housing looked, and it was a detox. It feels so different than when you go to the underground, and it's memories. It all depends, because most places have a downtown area and stuff, but I can't value Atlanta, Georgia anymore, because of such bad history dealing with others and things of that nature. But yeah, growing up, I was damned if I do and I was damned if I don't. My womanhood is toxic for me, and it's gonna hurt me to my soul when I leave this earth, knowing that I wasn't a man. Because if I was a man, I wouldn't have been questioned about nothing or anything. I would have been a happy nigga. I really would have. That's just common damn sense. You don't need a dictionary full of words to learn to understand this shit. Have the people in my life wasn't nobody special. And I be wondering, like, with some of these couples and shit, I be like, just as far as geography is concerned, I live in an area where it's close to the ocean. Folly Beach goes into the ocean. And I was thinking that the main reason why a lot of people move too, because, there's hurricanes and things that can, really turn things around in a city or town. And everything can go downhill or uphill or however you want to look at it. So yeah, man, I don't care if you're born in this world, and you don't have access to a certain quality of life. Even if you do, you still, death is forever present. Like I said, that you're gonna take a loss. If somebody's gonna die, they're gonna die. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much how healthy you are. Depending on how healthy you are, the process will take longer, but it's still going to happen. So you have a choice to make. And based off just being somebody born in this new millennium in the 2000s, man, if you're born after this, man, I don't care, man. Don't let nobody walk all over you unless you really have accumulated enough knowledge to really stay out of a bad social situation to where you're not creating avenues of, opposition for yourself. That's what I'm dealing with. I've got people that's opposing me for various reasons, or even that's how I feel. Because one thing about being educated, people can play mind games with you, study your personality, and use that to their advantage. It's just like being a CEO. Some of these CEOs are dumb, some of them are smart. They can play psychological games with you, like the Fly Son said, 100 years crackers, you give him, we give him. Know what I'm talking about? Blah 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 blah. They switch you up. What I get from that is, motherfuckers will sit there and play can't it depending on how smart a correctional officer is or how passionate about the job they is, they'll use that to their advantage. And that's kind of a good thing, what I'm saying? As far as, even though you may be dealing with a criminal, there's a sense of genuinity that comes with some certain people who are doing jobs and really trying to make a change, socialists like Obama. You really study people, and you really, try to make things, you know, balance things out for everyone, no matter how good or bad of a person that they are. I'm dealing with the injustice of sexual crime. And at the end of the day, you know, we are making a profit off our struggle as people. I can see that clearly from these videos that are being promoted, the things that people are going through in these songs that they're singing. It's not about the money, it is about the matters of the heart. And at the end of the day, I'm like, all the men in my life are pretty much rapists or rapist minded. And I'm not saying that there's no such thing as love between a man and a woman. I'm just saying that in my mind, it's not. It's based on the fate of my life. Because if you are, let's say that you have a solid relationship, a good, real relationship, if you don't feel sexually violated, you will have experienced real love to me. You know what I'm saying? A person like me cannot understand the ideology of, having a connection, a heartfelt connection with the man. And I think that when it does happen, it's something that's indescribable. You just can tell when a couple really has loyalty toward one another. And at the end of the day, there will be no doubts involved, and you don't need other people's approval. I mean, I really wish that my life was perfect. I really had people play with my mind as far as the things that I've experienced. I've really had people, make me feel inferior to men, and I really think that that is so wrong for them to have done that. There's a lot of people in this world. It's just like when I'm working at the Walmart, McDonald's. I mean, when somebody builds a building, they can do all that shit by themselves if they want to. It's like you either gonna buy the product or you not. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can tell by the flow of things when people do shit from the matters of their heart. There are people that are, that seem to be more advantaged than me growing up, that really have spreaded rumors about me, and it was a belittling tone that came with that. So I have to be careful out here, because at the end of the day, you know, when I see all these hotels being built and things of that nature, I mean, I'm like, they probably have people that want to migrate, appreciate these apartments, and whole families moving from the projects that were torn down 17 years ago. All these people moving. You never know what's going on. I see all these hotels and hotel rooms, like there'll always be somewhere for somebody to go. You know, my thing is intellectualism is what's going to help me, you know, safe. When I go check out a room, I feel safe around certain spirits. You know what I'm saying? I can't feel safe around a man. And that's the difference between me, all these women that have established unions with their boyfriends. Everybody grows up different. I grew up knowing, what I'm saying, as far as, making a love connection with a man, a lot of the people, I got cousins and associates, people that grew up in the neighborhood, they were talking to their parents um like their friend. You know what I'm saying? I was not taught to view my parents as a friend, and it's always those small differences that make a big difference in their outlook, and that they develop their perspective. I've developed a negative perspective about associating with others based off the way that my parents treated me. Like, you know I have cousins and stuff. I see how they talk with their mom, and I mean that's a paradigm that I can't. You can't teach nobody how to parent, but I'm like, some parents do play their child friend, maybe out of guilt or whatever, or shame, or maybe they like, no, well, this is somewhat dysfunctional, so let me tell her that you may end up in a relationship like this where somebody already have a kid, or maybe this, that, and the third, or we're experiencing so much comfort and success. Let's let her get away with this tone of voice or talk or whatever. All the kids in my life were pretty much grown, and I was outcasted. And I was sitting there realizing that all the men really wanted to develop and show passion. That's why it took offense to their emotional state, because it is an advantage that they have over me. These women ain't gonna believe me. That's why all these songs and shit that been written. I'm sitting here analyzing their passion and sitting here being put on the back burner. It is embarrassing for me. I'm like, cause all I can do is say, well, if I was a man, I would have that same passion, but it would be my own. But it's all good. You know, manhood can win in my life, but at the end of the day, you can't take away whatever I learned for myself. You know, I might be disadvantaged in that area, but life is so much more than just that. You know, I could be gone, and after experiencing life, I'm not really scared to leave this earth. And I hope I reincarnate to back to a man and live a happy life, fall in love with myself. Shit, I am my own damn man. That's basically what a dyke is anyway, or a lesbian. It is what it is. Some people develop their perspective, their perception, whatever, based off life. You know, like I say, you gotta play the cards you was dealt, man. Make sure you win. Don't let them game you. You gotta get your body, whatever you need to do. You do that shit, and I mean that shit. Because sometimes there are people that are cutthroat and stuff. They gonna sit there and try to prove that they Muslim and this, that, and the third. Most people in my life wanted me to just play the role of a hoe, of a girl. That shit is being viewed in a weakening aspect. I mean, don't get me wrong. This may sound immature, and I haven't really, like I said, once I cross certain intellectual avenues and capacities, as far as the way the things that I'm learning and books that I'm reading, then I'll probably develop more of an optimistic state when it comes to my womanhood in reference to manhood. Until we get there, I'm gonna stay childish about the situation and say that y'all know for a fact y'all would have treated me better if I was a man. I would just be a cute boy getting some ass. That's it. That's the real world. So for all y'all men, I don't give a fuck how good of a bad person you is. Keep that in mind. That's your advantage.